Hey everybody, what's going on? We are going to talk a little bit more about PvP stuff today. It's going to be a pretty relaxed video. I am quickly losing the battle to a headache, so I want to get something made before I need to turn off all these lights and do nothing. So I thought what we would do today, we did a guide kind of talking about putting together a defense, just things to keep in mind when you're putting together a defense. We've done the same for offense. So I thought what might be kind of interesting for us to do today is go through our list and just look at defenses, and I would talk you through sort of my thought process on what I would think about when deciding to attack or not attack, and maybe what makes a defense good or bad. And I figured we might get a lot more examples here than I went over in the initial video. So again, sort of a laid back kind of video, but I feel like we'll get a lot more of a sample size here to discuss with each defense. And again, maybe if I talk you through a little bit about what I think about when I'm approaching a defense, you might get a little something out of it. So let's start here. We have basically they're trying to speed threat. So then we have to think about what are they trying to do with the speed threat. Pumpkin is super high base speed. We have to assume he's got stacks, so we have to assume that's a 119 base speed, so probably decently fast. Usually it's a safe bet that Dark Pumpkin is fast. What does Fire Bomber do again? Plants a bomb when he attacks. It's kind of a weak bomb though. 50% chance to fail. Okay, all right, I get that. So basically what we're looking at here is no one here is removing any buffs is the big thing I notice about this team. So if you come in with immunity, first of all, a bruiser comp with immunity, you're pretty much going to win. Because the only real threat here, annoying, not enough of a threat, I don't think, to be a huge problem. So if I wanted to come in and counter this, I'd probably do it with something like, if I didn't want to try to just win the speed race, which I probably would, I would probably just do this because I think my pumpkin is going to be faster than that pumpkin. But let's say that you don't have that kind of faith in your pumpkin. So we would start talking about thinking like, a nurse. Now we're not going to get first turn. So we want to make sure we're on Zeal. So we're on Zeal there. This unit is on Zeal and is going to give us 3 turns of immunity that nobody's going to be able to take off. And then I'm going to want a way to deal some damage. I'm going to want a way to start getting some enemies out of there. And even if they're not all on Zeal, it's fine. Really, the big thing that matters here is that this unit's on Zeal, because this is going to be my cleanse and immunity for the rest of the team. So even if he gets to put bombs up, it's not going to matter because I'm going to be able to cleanse him. So Fire Nurse is going to help alleviate that. My Iron Twin's going to kind of take care of that and negate this threat. So now I just need to... Man, am I getting sick? I might just be full blown getting sick here, guys. Now we can kind of do whatever we want. Honestly, we're kind of in the clear here. We need to be careful about not losing the immunity and starting to get crowd controlled. Need to be careful about nobody getting oblivion. But I can kind of do whatever I want to do here now. So maybe I want to bring somebody. I don't really want to bring my tree bear, because he won't get to go to sleep. But I could bring my Fire Bear. Fire Bear could be kind of a fun one to bring. We're a little fire heavy, which again, I don't really think is going to matter here. And then we could bring like... I don't know. She's fun. It really doesn't matter. This is sort of a situation where I'm overthinking it. It really doesn't matter who we bring. Let's let my Twin Blade get some action. I really like my Twin Blade. He's a lot of fun. So I'd probably run something like this. And we'll jump in now. I don't think anybody's going to get sniped. And once my Iron Fist gets her turn, I mean, they all derped anyway. Once my Iron Fist gets her turn, it's sort of a formality here. So I'm gonna steal. He's probably got pretty high attack, so I'm gonna want to steal some of his attack. And now their main threat's gone, and then now I kind of think I would like to get you out of here. Because I don't want to deal with the defense downs and the freezes and all that. And that's... Oh, you're not dead, huh? And now we can auto it out. So you see, we took their defense and just sort of broke down what their goal is. That's really the big thing that you need to do when you're trying to figure out what to do against the defense, is think about what they want. In an ideal situation for the defense, what happens? I can't go back in here, but what they want is to win the speed race and get bombs up so that it starts interrupting, right? You have a chance to fail and the bomb detonates and you take damage. Nurse is going to A3 and push everybody's turn meter back. Puppet Master's going to AoE crowd control and defense down, which is going to make the nurse do a little more damage. Pumpkin's going to keep turn cycling, right? That's what they want. So if I figure out what they want and then figure out how to not give them what they want, that's my path to success, right? So again, here we've got another team going for a speed threat. We have a 33 speed lead. We've got a water man-at-arms who can be a very problematic unit. We've got a water specialist who can be a very problematic unit, and we have a water sorcerer. So we have a pretty water heavy team, but of all fairly problematic units. Now they have a 33 speed lead, and they have a water sorcerer. Now I know at 6-star his base speed is 107, if I'm not mistaken. If he was only 5-star, it would be 92, and it wouldn't be a big deal. But at 6-star, it's 107. So I know that my pumpkin is 119 base speed. So even at a 25, I still have the advantage. And again, I have a lot of faith in my gear. So I think I'll come in and win this speed race. So this is probably what I would do to this team. However, let's say that we don't have that kind of faith in our cleave. What does this team want to happen? They want to win the speed race. They want me to not have immunity. He wants to reset. He wants to freeze and reset. She wants to hex. She wants to stun. She wants to dot. They don't have anybody, though, that's removing any buffs. So again, I have my immunity giver on Zeal that can also cleanse. So everything they want now doesn't matter. Now, I with this one unit, I've taken away everything that they want, right? So now it's just a matter of who do I want to bring in to play around with, right? I want some support, so which could be Fire Nurse, but I think I'll go Light Bookworm this time. And then again, we can kind of go. I've got my wind damage dealer. I'll still be able to do damage to him. I'm not really sweating him too much. So maybe if we go with a tree, we'll go tree heavy to increase the chance of glancing and stuff, right? And even though I'm getting immunity up, I could still rock Tree Bear. My Tree Bear's still going to do fine, even if he's not sleeping. But maybe I'll go Wind Monk. Is he still geared? Yeah, he's still kind of geared. Maybe I'll go Wind Monk here to counteract all this turn meter reduction that they have, right? So now what I have to be careful about before we jump in here is her hexing her, which is very likely. So that's why I've got another unit that can sort of help us out there, right? If she derps and tries to stun, she's not going to land it. If she hexes my Iron Fist, I should be able to take care of it here. And what I would hope is that we would get enough glances that he wouldn't get crowd controlled and he would be able to start putting in some work, right? So that's the idea. That's sort of the idea of what I'm going for. It's a little bit of a dangerous one. This is one that I think it would be a better idea to win the speed race because she ignores immunity, right? With the Hex. So we have to be a little bit careful here. And if they're very well geared and they get a couple of lucky non-glances, we might be in trouble. But let's jump in. Does anybody have a better lead here? I don't know if I care about the accuracy lead so much. Let's jump in and see how this goes. I'm not entirely sure about this one, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, that's weird. That's actually kind of weird. I did not expect to win the speed race here. So we have the water specialist, followed by the sorcerer, followed by the twin blade, followed by the man-at-arms. That's a weird speed tune there. So here I'm gonna do this to try to encourage a glance. I'm going to grant a nullify to hopefully block the Hex. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get immunity up. Actually, yeah, I'll just go ahead and get immunity up on everybody. And then I think I want to go after you. Because we get to keep our nullify. So hopefully it's there if she at any point tries to get hexed. Let's put a defense down on you. Let's keep going after you. Oh, we just resisted it. Okay, so we have what we have here. I think is just an issue with gear. I think that this team is not geared particularly well. The tuning was strange, which again is just something that you'll run into sometimes. I'm going to do that again because why not? Yeah, we'll glance a few times, but I think we're fine. I don't think we're in any real danger here. But that was the idea. Try to do what I thought they wanted was to win the speed race, have him reset again and freeze, have her hex. Like that's kind of what I thought we were going for. Oh, that's right. You have to kill with the A1. That's what it was. I was like, why didn't I get my follow-up? But the tuning was a little weird. So maybe the goal was to catch people off guard and be a little bit more bruisery than people would be expecting. Or, you know, maybe it's just a bad defense. Sometimes it's just a bad defense. You know what I mean? And that happens. And I'm not trying to... No shade. No shade. I know it's a lot to figure out. But sometimes that's just the way it goes, man. Even so, the issue with that would have been there was no real stripper, right? Water Spec could hex somebody, but if she doesn't hex the right unit, or she gets resisted, or it gets blocked, then basically everything here falls apart because all we got to do is get our immunity up. And there's no danger, right? Solo Light Bear is just Solo Light Bear. I would just hex him or go in with an Oblivion unit and Oblivion him. So here we have a pretty good defense. This is a defense that is not really very appealing to hit because you've got a couple of very annoying passives. You've got a pretty dangerous unit who has a passive effect that you can't Oblivion, and then a very good reviver cleanser. So there's a lot of support here. Basically what this team is trying to do is keep this Fire Man-at-Arms alive and let him do all the work because this Ghost Captain's probably on Bash. That's usually the way they go on Bash because it's going to be doing a lot of counterattacking. You're going to be doing a lot of glancing. And it's just really annoying, right? So this is one that you would want to be real careful about trying to come in and bruiser and counter everything because there's just so much going on. It's real hard to lock down. It's going to be real hard to lock these two down. So this is a fight that I would say if you can't get in and out of quickly, then you probably just want to skip it, right? So like I would probably just do this to it. And I would more than likely hex him to avoid glancing. and then hope that I could get the rest of them killed before things started going annoying here, right? But we've got an HP lead. We can expect that team to be very tanky. There's 2 fire units, which makes it less appealing to try to bookworm. You could certainly try, but again, you also have to keep in mind you're going to likely be glancing. Pretty well constructed defense there. So let's see how it holds up to a cleave. Let's see how it holds up to a cleave. I'm a little curious. This is I don't know if I would hit this usually or not. But we come in like this. Again, I don't really want to glance, so I'm going to do that. We can get some stuns, that'd be nice. We got a silence up, which is pretty handy. We're not in the clear yet, though. Not in the clear yet. Now we are. So you see that could have gotten out of hand, though. That bookworm, if I don't land that silence, that bookworm gets that revive off. Fire Nurse starts doing Fire Nurse things. Things get out of hand. Not a bad defense. The fact that I was able to cleave it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad defense. Some stuff could, you know what I mean? There's counters to everything. And that one, the counter to that, the easy counter to that is just a powerful cleave that can control him. If I don't hex him and I land a few glances, I'm probably done. I'm probably out of that fight. So it's a well put together defense, I think. Here we have another example of someone just trying to win the speed race. The issue is that they lack a big threat. Water Sorcerer can do a little bit of damage, but if they're maybe that's what they're going for. Since they've got another booster in here, maybe they're trying to sneak a little bit of damage on him as well. So again, we just come in with this, and it kind of takes all this away. Shield boost, shield defense down. He'll hit and reset potentially. She'll reduce cooldowns. They'll want to do it again. But I have an immunity unit here, and no one can take the buffs off of her. So whatever they do, if they don't kill stuff, if all my stuff survives, then I'm just gonna cleanse them and put immunity on them, and it's gonna get bad from there. You know what I mean? So like, let's let our fire bear. Again, kind of fire heavy, but like whatever. And then since we've got like water units that are kind of doing the damage, I think I'm gonna bring my twin blade. I've been playing a lot with my twin blade lately, so I think something like this is probably fine. If we felt like we wanted to be a little bit safer, we could do this again. We could do light bookworm again, because again, they can't get my buffs off of me. So for the sake of like countering this, I'm not gonna come in and try to outspeed it, but I think something like this and we're fine. I don't think there's enough damage there to kill anybody. And when she gets to cleanse and put immunity on everybody, we're good. We're in the clear. It's all downhill from there. I forgot everybody on this team already had Zeal, so we're good. Again, we're looking at a weird turn order there. I feel like this should be Popo Rider. And then either Puppet or Sorcerer. And then she should come in behind. I don't know what's up with these weird turn orders here. But just to ensure, I'm just going to boost her turn meter so that she can now get longer term immunity up on everybody. I don't even need the A2, but I'll go ahead and do it. And then I'll hit you. Now, you've got a defense down, so I don't want to steal from you. I probably want to steal from you. But this is it now. There's not really much they can do to us, because we have immunity up. And that's the danger of running. I can just audit that out. That's the danger of running a speed threat team one, the danger of running a speed threat team is that your units are just going to derp, right? They're not going to do what you want them to do. The booster's not going to boost. The stripper's not going to strip. The AoE damage dealer's not going to AoE damage, right? Sometimes that's going to happen. So that's one of the big risks. But another risk is that you leave yourself open to just being hard countered, especially if you don't have a stripper. If there's not even the threat of a stripper on your team, I'm just going to come in with Zeal. And your team, nothing your team does is going to matter. You know what I mean? Nothing gets to happen if I come in with Zeal. And you want to be very careful about that when you're putting your defenses together. If the counter to your defense is Zeal and nothing else, I didn't have to consider anything about what they were doing. I didn't have to consider anything about their kits. I don't care that she does AoE defense down and freeze. I don't care that he does reset. I don't care about anything that any of them are doing because I have Zeal runes. Or Zeal gears, sorry. So if all I have to do to counter you is Zeal, and this is what you should be looking for when you're testing. When you place a defense, you can also test it. You should be testing your defense. You should be trying to set a defense that you struggle to beat. That's the best way to do it, honestly. And if Zeal is the answer, you need to come up with something else, because that's not cutting it. So let's keep moving. All right, here we have another pretty interesting defense. They're going for the stall here, but the thing about Light Bear is that he fits so well into that, and he's also such a threat, right? So the resistance lead can be a little tricky, because if I come in and try to hex him and don't land it, then I lose. Flat out, I just lose that fight. But we've got two problematic passives, which if you watched the video that I talked about with defenses, problematic passives are excellent. The more of those you can get into a defense, the better. Because I look at this, really there's 3 problematic passives, but as far as like support and sustain, there's 2. I look at this and think, I don't know. If I can't kill them on the first turn and their passives start proccing, then she's going to get to go and put invincibility up on everybody. It's going to be a problem. Now, I know I'll outspeed, right? There's no shot I won't outspeed. But how much resistance do they have? Do they have enough to block my hex? I have to hex the Light Bear, because I can't just let him be popping off with counterattacks the whole fight. Whereas I would probably prefer to hex Light Nurse. But I don't know if I'll survive enough turns to hex the Light Bear again. So I have to hex the Light Bear and hope I can do enough damage that they can't recover from it. So let's see how good the defense is, right? If it's a great defense, I won't land the hex on the Light Bear. If it's a really good defense, I'll land it, but they'll be too tanky for me to kill with my cleave. It's a great defense. Now I'm screwed. I have no shot at winning now. There's no way that this could go that I could win this fight now, right? Well, okay, maybe there is. I take that back. I thought I couldn't crit him if I didn't have more HP than him. Has something changed with him? They did a good job with their resistance. I need to look at Light Bear again. I thought I wasn't going to be able to land a critical hit on him. Still a good defense. Let me go look at Light Bear real quick. Maybe I missed a change. I would have sworn there was a thing in his passive where if you don't have more HP, you can't crit him. When your max HP is higher than your enemies, your critical rate increases and decreases the critical chance you receive by 70%. Maybe I just do enough damage then without a crit. Did he used to be? He can't take a crit? Okay, well, maybe I got lucky. Maybe I got lucky there. It reduced my crit rate a lot, but also maybe I'm just doing enough damage, or maybe he didn't have, maybe they focused so hard on resistance, he didn't have enough HP to withstand, which is something you have to be careful of as well. But still, not a bad defense conceptually, right? I think, I'm surprised that went that way. Usually if I get resisted by a light bear, it's over. But I also haven't hit a team like that in a while. I was kind of expecting to lose that for the point I was trying to make, but there you go. I guess we'll just move on. All right. This is an example of one that is a little bit more interesting. Now, it kind of lacks a little bit, and let's talk about why. First of all, what do they want? What I hope they want is their specialist to go first and strip stun. That's what I hope that they want. That's what they should want. And then what they really should want is Puppet Master, and then Sorcerer, and then Tree Bookworm. The problem is, you don't have a booster, so you're leaving yourself real susceptible to getting cut if she is not able to do what she's supposed to do here. You also, I don't think that anything on this team is faster than my boosters, right? So I would do this. I think there's a small chance, a very, very small chance, that the Fire Specialist is faster than my Sorcerer. A very small chance. So I would probably be comfortable doing this, but if I really wanted to be sure, I would just do this, because this team is not surviving this, right? And the thing about Fire Specialist, one of the reasons she's so good on defense is because she's really hard to plan for. Because if she's got enough accuracy and she strip stuns, you're in a lot of trouble, especially with a team like this, right? This is a kind of a threatening team if they get to go. If they don't get to go, then not a big deal. So Fire Specialist is a great defensive unit for that reason, because you have to be real careful about going in and trying to just counter her, because she hits everybody twice. She gets 2 chances. She gets 2 chances at a 60% chance of stripping. And she gets, because she's going to be hitting with this, and then she gets 2 chances at a 50% chance to stun. It is very likely she's going to strip you and stun you. If you have Zeal, you know what I mean? If you don't go in with Zeal, then it's even worse for you. So you got to be real careful about trying to hard counter a specialist. So I would probably just cleave this, right? I try not to make it a habit of trying to counter Fire Specialist in any other way than outspeeding her, because again, it's just you're flipping the coin. You're really rolling the dice there. Now, if we look at the way that this team is set up, the problem with the way that this team is set up is it looks like their stripper's third in line. So if I had come in with Zeal, they'd all be dead. If I came in with Zeal and a little bit of AoE damage, they'd be dead before she ever got to do what she needs to do. She should be going first. Your stripper needs to be going before the units that are doing the harmful effects. So you come in with Zeal and block this turn meter knockback, well, that's it. That's a wrap for you. It's over. So the turn order's wrong here, right? So that's kind of a problem. And then, again, you leave yourself open to being outsped, because if you are getting the accuracy and stuff that you need on your Fire Specialist for her to be reliable, you probably weren't able to focus speed the way that you needed to outspeed boosters. Unless you're at the very high end, right? Unless all your gear is grinded and stuff. But I'm going to take these free wins while I talk. Unless you're at the higher end, right? Like Nepilepsy, for example, has a Fire Specialist that has insane speed, but also enough accuracy and stuff to do all the other stuff she needs to do. But we're talking about, top 10. He was ranked 2 a couple weeks ago. So, not a lot of people are going to have that at their disposal, really. So, you have to be mindful of these things. Now, if your goal is to just like show a threat, that defense showed a little bit of a threat to anything other than a cleave. Because again, I don't want to go in and try to counterfire specialists. That's a good way to just piss you off. It's a great way to just annoy the shit out of you, is have her strip all your zeal and stun everybody on your team. It sucks. Again, that's why she's such a nice unit for defense. I'll clear this one. We'll load up another list and go through and talk. No reason to be in a hurry, you know. Did he just take 2 turns in a row? I guess it's possible. He's fast compared to everybody else on that team. Okay, let's do this again. Let's go through again. All right, now this is a little bit of a lower. We're in the lower ranks, right? Did I say I'm 152? That's a lie. I was like 1700 or something not that long ago. Okay, but these are silver stars. So obviously these are in most cases not going to be super strong defenses, right? But we'll still go through and talk about them because I think this stuff can apply at all levels. So again, basically what we want to do is just look at this and say what do they want here, and I don't really know. I guess what they're going for is having this guy do a lot of damage. He's probably got the most crit damage, so her passive is going to boost him. Maybe they're trying to buff, and maybe they're going for a little protection here. The problem with this team is Tree Bookworm, right? This is just begging to be Tree Bookwormed. So if you don't have Tree Bookworm, then it's just begging for people to come in with like a wind heavy team. If I've got Bear, if I've got Monk, if I've got Twin Blade, I don't really even have to think too much about it because there's just not a lot going on here that's going to be a big problem for me. There's no real threat. Even if this unit hits me and is on bash and stunned, even if the unit gets a few turns off, there's no real threat here, right? And again, I'm not trying to roast anybody. I know that this is a lower ranking defense. This is clearly an account that's not super developed. I'm not trying to be insulting here. I'm just calling the defense for what it is, okay? Explaining why this is not really a great defense, because I can come in pretty easily and clean that out. I could probably just clean that out with my Twin Blade. Because there's just nothing going on that I need to be concerned about. You haven't given anybody anything to be concerned about with this defense, okay? So, just something to keep in mind. And again, I know the units are limited. This is probably just thrown in. Still talking about it because it's in the list. Here, you're going for, I guess, annoying. Anytime I see Light Bear, that's one of the things I think is like, oh, you're just trying to be annoying. You just want this defense to be annoying, right? Now I'm kind of curious about like what kind of luck I would have trying to bookworm a Light Bear. This is begging to be cleaved by anything that's got any answer to this. Anything that's got Oblivion, if you have a water specialist and can hex it, this is basically just begging to be cleaved. I am kind of curious about what happens if I try to bookworm a Light Bear. Not something I would have tried to do in the past, but... Oh, sneaky speed. Interesting. Sneaky speed on the specialist. All right. Well, there you go. That's fun. Also, I didn't do any damage to him with my bookworm, which is kind of what I anticipated. But so what I would actually do is this to this team. Because even though she's got sneaky speed on her, she's not going to outspeed me with a speed lead, right? So I'll come in. I'll do my thing. I will hex hopefully successfully hex the light bear, and then probably be fine. Right, because now there's no real counterattack threat or anything. And that's that. But this isn't like a real defense either. It's a 3-man defense. So I think what they might be trying to do is trap some people, kind of like, you know, I wanted to see what my bookworm could do. Maybe people think they're just going to come in and bookworm that. I mean, I could probably get my turtle tank a little faster too, but yeah, I don't know that was like a real defense. I think it was just kind of an annoying placeholder defense. Maybe they don't want to drop down super far, but like, you know, whatever. It's clearly very easy to climb back up, so whatever. All right, let's talk about this defense. This one's kind of interesting. I really like Tree Surgeon. I think he's kind of interesting. This passive, if he gets going, can be kind of annoying. We have another very problematic passive here as far as support is concerned. So these two are going to combo really well together. We have an annoying passive in the Light Bear, who is a bit of a threat. And we've got another threat in the Water Monk, who can also strip, right? AoE strip stun, big damage on the A3. Not conceptually, not a bad defense. Now, we're running a 5-star Tree Surgeon, which leads me to believe that the gear's not quite there. That the account's a little underdeveloped. You have to be kind of careful about that, because sometimes that could be what they're going for. They could have crazy gear and he could still be good. Or they could have crazy gear on these 3 units and he's just here for the resistance lead. Right? Now, this is a prime candidate to be cleaved, because there is no speed threat. I'll probably be able to run 2 circles around them before they get a turn if I'm running a team with a booster, right? If I'm running a fast team with a booster. So that's something to consider. Otherwise, if you want to try to come in and like counter everything in this team, you just have to be very careful about it, because this unit has a lot, this defense has a lot of the ingredients of a successful defense. They've got a stripper, which is very problematic. They've got big damage, which is scary. They've got crowd control, all in this one unit. They've got all the stuff that the Light Bear does, right? Counterattack with a defense down, pretty good AoE damage. We've got debuff from two passives on the team that are removing debuffs from allies every time they get a turn. We've got one that's putting up immunity every time. So if you don't get this unit out of there quickly, you've basically got permanent immunity on everybody to deal with, which is very aggravating. And then you've got tons of support coming out of this unit. So this is a defense that I would say I would probably not want to come in and try to counter this defense, if I'm honest with you. This is probably not a defense I would want to try to come in and counter. I would want to try to cleave this defense or leave this defense alone. If I was going to, I'd probably want to do this to try to suck some stats off of them. But again, she's going to be HP heavy, which is going to do him no good. He's probably going to be HP heavy, which is going to do him no good. And he's going to be HP heavy. So I would hope that the monk is built for defense. But it's probably not. It's probably built for HP. So actually, he would not do me much good there at all. I don't recommend trying to hard counter that. I think this is a good example of the type of defense that if you can cleave it, and if you can't, just don't hit it. So if I was going to try to cleave it, I feel like I learned my lesson about trying to tree bear or bookworm a tree bear, but I am still kind of curious. Like, I do want to try it again just to see. I want to see why I was able to do so much damage with my other team and not this team. Decent speed on these units, actually. So the nurse made it through. She's got her A2, so she's going to use that. Oh, we got some damage there. All right, now hopefully he doesn't solo us. So yeah, tree bookworming Light Bear is not the way to go, apparently. Which we knew, but again, I just kind of wanted to see. Oh, he resisted the Oblivion too. That's unfortunate. Are we going to be able to sneak it out? He's also healing, which is causing us a lot of issues here. Nice. Let's go, dude. All right, so don't tree bookworm like bear, right? But yeah, not a bad defense actually, conceptually. All right, we have a player here that I think is just low level. So we won't bother with that. Fire spec solo. Ooh, okay. What do you do again? Increases your action bar by 20% whenever enemy's turn ends. Decrease the target's action bar by 20% when you attack an enemy. The target's action bar is below half. Deal additional true damage. Oh, that's kind of funky. Okay, so interesting defense. I run a similar defense. My last unit is not the Dark Robo, but I do run these three lately. This is a pretty cool defense because, one, you've got good element coverage. So no one can like load up on one element and come in and hard counter you because you've got good coverage. These two synergize really well because her passive, when an ally gets an inability effect, remove all debuffs from yourself and grant yourself defense up and all other allies defense up, and then get a turn. At the beginning of the fight, he gets an inability effect, which means that no matter how fast anyone else in the field is, she's gonna go. She'll even go before Tree Barb. She immediately gets a turn because he immediately has sleep when the fight starts. So, for example, let's say I wanted to do this. I've learned the hard way that she's now capable of one-shotting my Dr. Evil. Because for a while, before the buff maybe, her damage wasn't good enough. So even if she hit him and taunted him or stunned him, it didn't matter because my Tree Sorcerer was going to remove everything anyway. Now she's to the point where she can do enough damage to one-shot him. So if you have a fire damage dealer in your cleave, I would be very cautious about trying to cleave this defense because she's very likely going to snipe that unit. Okay, it's not hard to get a lot of damage on her. Her resistance adds to her damage. Increase your critical damage by an amount equal to your resistance. So if you build her for damage and then load up on resistance, you're just increasing her damage by that much more. So it's and then she has a resistance lead, which is giving her more damage, right? Not that hard to make her hit hard. Very problematic unit. Then she got buffed, and now she's crazy good, right? She's very, very good now. Tree Bear, we're all familiar with the bears. They're very dangerous. They can be on bash sometimes, which is very problematic. They do pretty good damage. They're hard to kill. And then you've got this Dark Robo, who's doing some very interesting things, who I've not seen a ton of, but this 1200% of your speed. So that's interesting. True damage is always a problem, and all this turn meter manipulation and stuff is wild. So we have a pretty good defense here. This is a pretty good defense. What it lacks, however, is sustain. The bears have a little bit, right? The bears have a little bit built in, but I don't think she heals herself. So what this lacks is sustain. Now it's threatening. It's a dangerous, scary team, right? But it is counterable. If you can just live, if you can just survive, you can chip this team down over time. So if it's something that you didn't want to try to come in and cleave, if you were a little concerned about your damage dealer getting sniped or something, you could come in and try to counter it. So let's play around with this. It's going to be tricky, for sure. She also removes buffs, doesn't she? Remove 1 buff and inflict 1 turn stun. Yeah. So what do we got here? If she's skilled up, I think her passive is on a 3 turn cooldown. Yeah, okay. So I might want to come in with a little bit of my own. And then who do I think would be kind of fun? I would love to be able to get him in the mix. And the reason he might be so good for this is because she's probably loaded up on defense. And if he hits her a few times, one, he's going to take a bunch of defense off of her, which really minimizes her threat, but he's also going to start hitting really hard. So I would probably do something like this. I'm throwing a Water Bear in for fun, because I should probably go a little bit more sustain heavy. I could probably, honestly, bring Water Bear and then just a bunch of units that are going to keep Water Bear alive and just let them kill themselves over time. That could be kind of fun to try. Maybe I try that first, just for fun. And if we fail, then we come in and try it with this team. So we would do like Fire Nurse, and then like Water Robo. Which gear is my Water Robo wearing right now? So we've just got a bunch of healing. And I'm gonna, yeah, let's see if we can get this team to kill themselves. Let's see if we can get this team to kill themselves over time. I'm going to fill up his turn meter so that I can get him to sleep. And then let's do that. And then hopefully she won't cleanse the sleep off of him. Hopefully she'll hit someone else with it. So far, so good. All right, so Robo down. Let's get back to sleep. Oh, don't need to do it. Okay. It's gonna take a while, but it's kind of a fun little project. Hoping he'd have his sleep. Here, let's get rid of all that. Oh, he's got a stack of Nullify now, though. I think he can't go to sleep. I have to wait till somebody tries to debuff him now. Yeah, let's do Foresight, which I probably shouldn't have done if I'm trying to get him to sleep, but... So anyway, this is the kind of thing where, like, if you've got the time... This was really not that hard to come in and counter. I can't go to sleep yet because he's got Nullify. I'm just gonna have to get rid of the nullify, I guess. Myself. Let's reduce the cooldown. I think I'm just gonna auto and just guide them. No one should die. The tree bear is gonna start hitting pretty hard because he's got 5 stacks. So hopefully we'll be all right there. Yeah, he's hitting pretty hard. Tree bear might get us. Because he is out there banging, dude. I need my water bear to be able to sleep, though. That's the problem with autoing is Bookworm's just going to keep putting stacks of nullify on him. But I needed the support, so it was kind of like, what do we do, you know? All right, no more A3 for a minute. I got to do that to get rid of it. We'll go back to sleep. What's I feel like at the start of the enemy's turn, if you are in the sleep state, your action bar decreases, and you will snore and affect them, reducing their max HP. Why do I feel like that's not happening? Relax, dude. There we go. Heal block. Getting a heal block up would be pretty big. Now, can we out damage his ability to heal himself? That's an interesting question. I don't know if we can. If he doesn't land a heal block, I don't think we can. We might end up in a situation where we're just stalled out with the tree bear. I swear he didn't take damage. I don't know what's going on there. He was asleep and he didn't take damage, I don't think. All right, anyway, that's long enough. We'll come in. That was more of a fun, goofy thing for anybody that's been watching this long. Let's go with, what did we say initially? We wanted to bring our tree twin. We wanted to bring our, and we wanted to bring, who else did we want to bring? Do we feel like we need a little bit more support than that and just let Tree Twin clean house? Because I'm pretty sure he'll be able to clean house. I feel pretty confident that he'll be able to clean this up for us. So I could just bring someone else in that's gonna kind of support him, you know what I mean? which could very easily just be Fire Nurse. I think this should probably be fine. I don't think we'll have too much of an issue here. Now, I should still absorb from her even if she's got invincibility up, right? Yeah. Let's do it again. Okay, so she should be doing very little damage now. And we should have absorbed quite a bit of damage from her with our Tree Twin. Like, you see how little damage we just took from those hits? So he should be banging now. And he's in Corrupt, so. I feel like I want to go after the Tree Bear first before he starts getting all them stacks. But you see the idea, right? We sort of identify what we think they want, and then we figure out what the best way is to take that away from them. And in this case, it was lots of sustain and a unit that's going to get stronger as the fight goes on. Basically, this whole team is designed around just making sure the Tree Twin stays alive and gets to do what he wants to do. Maybe I kill with the A1 here. And then now we can auto that out. So, I didn't really mean for this to be an hour long, but I don't know, longer the better, I guess, sometimes. More and more examples. It was kind of that long because of the goofy fight we tried before this. Again, I've been trying to stretch my Water Bear's legs a little bit. I think he's kind of a fun unit. I had a really fun guild war with him the other day. Where I had a similar idea where I was like, I'm just going to protect him and let the other team kill themselves. And it worked out. It was fun. But that's it. Again, I never know how helpful these are going to be. You guys usually let me know that this stuff is pretty helpful. So hopefully this is along the same lines. Just set aside some time occasionally if you want to start getting like better at PvP and start climbing, and coming into Arena and looking at every team in your list, trying to figure out what it is they want. Look in a perfect scenario, what would you do that would give them what they want? And then figure out how to take that away from them. And then fight every single team. Again, even if it's one that you know you're not going to beat. Sometimes I see teams in the higher ranks that are like, I know I'm not going to beat, but I want to jump in and see why. I want to jump in and see what they're doing, if I was right in what I was assuming that they wanted. Like, we were wrong a lot today, but I think that's a product of the defenses being wrong. You know what I mean? If you have a stripper and a debuffer, your debuffer shouldn't be going before the stripper, right? So there's some things that you should always assume are the case. And then some other stuff where you can kind of step outside of people's expectations and catch them off guard. A unit that doesn't usually do a lot of damage, that's going to do a lot of damage. Or a unit that usually is not very tanky, but ends up being tanky, and it sort of pulls your attention to the wrong place for just long enough for the defense to capitalize. Like, there are ways to step outside of what's common successfully, but there are also some ways to do it, a lot of ways to do it that are wrong. So, just come in and be prepared to lose. That's like I said that in the last video too. You're going to lose a lot, but you're going to learn a lot through losing. And it doesn't matter if you lose. You still even get a point here. You still even get an honor point if you lose. So there's really no punishment for losing, especially during the week. If it's not even rush hour, then who cares? It doesn't matter. You'll learn. It's also not a bad idea to go in and watch your defenses. If you have an actual defense set, it's a good idea to go in and watch your defenses. Figure out what people are doing that's making your defense unsuccessful. If you've got a long list of defeats and no successful defenses, then there's a problem, right? So you can go in and figure out what people are doing. If everybody's just bookworming your defense, then you know, okay, I have to figure out a way to make a defense people can't bookworm. And you'll learn a lot more through the failures, honestly, than you will through the successes. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. I know you've been asking for a longer video for a while, so I'm probably going to turn these lights off and sit in the quiet because I feel like dog dookie. But hope y'all have a good one. Appreciate you watching. I'll see y'all later.